Okay, so next we're going to go over the wrapping technique for the arm. So preferably the arm is clean. So if the patient came into you and they just removed the wrap, you would want to wash their arm first. This is Eucerin cream. You want a low pH lotion applied to the skin, and it needs to be a pH of 7 or lower. And so depending on the lotion that you're using, a lot of times it won't say it on the bottle itself. You may need to call the company, but Eucerin I know is a low pH. I'm not going to put any on Erica today just because of hair. Just because we don't want to get her all sticky, but this is the lotion that you can use. Then you're going to apply a stockinette over the arm. And today, this is what the stockinette looks like. I just cut a thumb hole for her, and we're going to slide that up the arm. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is use our Rosidol foam. I like to, when I apply the foam, unroll it like a roll of carpet. It just is easier for me to get a hold of. And we also talked about cutting out kind of a chunk. And if I were to do that, and I'm not going to today because I borrowed this from the store, I would cut it along here and up. Here and up. And that then would just lay nicely along the palm of the hand. But we don't have that today, so I just go once around the dorsum of the hand, and I would not need to cover the fingers at all, so I could actually roll that, and I will. And then you essentially just need one layer of this all the way up the arm, so you don't need to overlap much. Erica's arm is small, so I probably will be able to overlap some just to make sure I don't have a huge bulk at the top. If you have a lot of this white foam, you can double it over in the crook of the elbow, and that helps to prevent it from bunching in that area. But you need the foam to raise all the way up to the axilla. And if you have extra, just work your way down. Now when you end the foam, you want to make sure and tuck it. You don't want to tape the foam. You're going to see us using tape on the short stretch bandages, but you don't want to use tape, it will tear it. Okay, so first layer done is foam. Now you have 2 different size bandages. You want to always start with the narrowest bandage first and then work your way up. So if you had 3 different sizes, just work your way up in size. I'm going to use the narrowest one first. I'm going to start right at the dorsum of the hand here. I'm going to come around a couple of times, and then I'm going to figure 8 it around the wrist, and then I'm going to come back down again. Now you can see I'm not pulling tight, I'm just getting it to lay flat. So once I get the top of the hand done, then I can work my way up the arm, and I want to overlap by half of the bandage width, so I'll show you again as I come around. You can see the wrap is hitting the half point, wave point for the other bandage, and I know you know 50% coverage, so that's not a problem. And as I'm wrapping her, I am not pulling tight, I'm just keeping that bandage nice and close, and I'm getting it to lay flat. When I'm done, I want to tape it, but again, not on the foam. My second bandage, depending on how involved the dorsum of the hand is, I might start the second one down there, or I might start it here. So depending on if it's real puffy, I would start the second one here. If not, you can start at the wrist. You want to make sure you go the opposite direction from the previous brown bandage that you used. So if you remember the first time I went this way, now I'm going to need to go this way, and I can double check that. I'm going to have you turn your hand up. If I lay my end over end, and then I were to come around, that can tell me which direction I need to go, although that doesn't make much sense, does it? I must have started off this way. I must have. Okay, so now I'm going to start this way. When I wrap the brown bandage, I want to, when I come across, cover the whole edging. If I don't, it will tend to come loose on the patient, and that's not fun for them. Or if you end up wrapping and you see it at the end, you can just tape it. Again, not pulling tight, just getting it to lay flat. And I'm overlapping by half of the bandage width. Now, some people around the elbow might do a figure 8, and that really is going to be your preference. Some people do figure 8s all the way up. And again, of course, I'm always ending in the back. Tape it. My last bandage, I want to kind of feel where the bandage starts to feel squishy, and that usually tells me where I'm going to start my last bandage. And so if I feel my way up, I can kind of feel the difference where the bandage starts to feel a little bit more squishy. So I'm going to start this one here. And this one's going to take me all the way up. And depending on the size of your patient, you may need additional bandages, more than just 3. It just really depends on the coverage that you're going to have. The last brown bandage you want to cover completely with tape to avoid it falling apart. And that's it. Can you bend? It's an effort. The tightest it's going to feel on the patient is when you first put it on. It should loosen as they progress through the day. They should be able to still feel their fingertips. Make sure there's good capillary refill in the fingers. Otherwise, just make sure you're not pulling tight as you're putting that bandage on, and you're not going to get it too tight. If you want to be extra conservative, you could just use 2 bandages the first day, and the next day add the 3rd, if you're worried about them accepting that refill. Okay.